Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of the Capable Minds podcast. Today we have Geo Rose, founder and CEO of Heels Empowerment. We hope you enjoy this episode. There's a lot to take from it and I think you're going to learn so much from her business acumen. As always, please like, share and subscribe to our channel as it helps us grow. And before we get started, ask yourselves one question: what makes you capable?
Capable Minds podcast.
Geo, thank you so much for coming in and being our first female guest. Can you please start by giving us a brief description about what you do and a bit about your business?
Thank you so much for having me today. It's an honour to be able to represent females, first of all. So thank you so much for even asking a female to come on. My name's Geo and I'm the founder of Heels Empowerment. So what is Heels Empowerment probably? Like some people might be thinking. So I teach females how to dance, mainly females. I do have some men that come to my classes, but it's predominantly females. And I teach them how to dance in high heels. Mm-hmm. And it's just creating a safe space for women to be able to express their sensuality.
Wow, that's amazing. So if we can jump back to when you were younger, can you tell me a bit about how you got into dance? Has it always been something that you've been sort of interested in, or where did that come from?
So my mum is a ballet teacher.
Oh yeah.
So I started classically with dancing. So literally it was always going to be that I was going to dance. Yeah. But I have an older sister as well who also danced, but she didn't want it as a career. So I always knew it was going to be a hobby of mine, but then obviously that the shift to a career. My mum got me into ballet. I honestly think I did my first show in a nappy.
Were you that young, were you?
I was that young. I think my mum was actually scared I was going to... Can I swear?
Yeah,
I was like, can I swear? I think she was actually terrified I was going to shit myself on stage. But actually it was the opposite. And I think from a young age it was clear that I was going to be a performer, because one of the memories, my mum, I obviously don't remember, but my mum would tell me, is that I didn't actually have an official class to learn the routine, so I just joined my sister's group because my sister's slightly older than me. Yeah. And I would just watch and picked it up, and that's always been something that I've been quite good at, is just picking up movements, which helps with my job.
Of course.
Yeah, and and I remember my mum saying to me that at the end we got told that we had to wave to the audience. But obviously as kids, you don't know where the audience is going to be on stage. Yeah. So she'd be run to me and wave. But on the day of the show, obviously my mum couldn't be in the audience, be run to me. So she was in the corner by the piano. Obviously when there was more tap dances or the ballet routines. I think it was literally, I'm a Barbie girl, the routine was. And I was tiny, standard. And they all ran to my mum in the corner to wave to her. And I was the only one who went centre stage.
Oh, it was written in the stars.
I know, it was meant to be.
For you to be a performer.
Yeah, and I think it was really clear at a young age that I wasn't shy to be in front of crowds of people. Yeah. I was always really confident as a kid. Creatively, I was really confident. And I think then it was nurtured though at a young age. Yeah. And my mum and my dad was really supportive of me always wanting to dance. So I would be in ballet. So I did mainly ballet and then jazz and a bit of tap. Mm-hmm. And I was there pretty much almost every single day in dance. And it was my absolute passion, just watching music videos when I was a kid. Just everything. I was obsessed with everything to do with art, I would say.
What do you think about dance is what do you think about dance specifically made you interested in it? Is it the fact that it's practical, or is it the fact that you can create stuff, or is it part of because your mum and your sister did it? Was it in your head you were I want to be part of what they got going on? What was it that really sold it to you?
I think how it makes you feel when you do it. I think it's a sense of community as well. You'd see your friends there, and some of the girls who I danced with then, they're still like my good friends now.
Yeah.
You know, like one of them's like my best friend, and we have totally different lives. And she's a doctor now in London.
That's mad.
Yeah, I know. And like when I go to London to train,
Yeah.
like myself, like what I like dance train, because that's where all professionals go to train. I'll go and visit her. Like it's just so nice that you're able to like meet so many different people, and as you can probably tell, I'm such a people's person.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely, one is community, and then how like dance made me feel like I could really express myself. And I think, I knew at a young age that I did have a talent in it, and I wasn't very academic in school, so I just felt like it was like an outlet for me. And I've always been like really creative, like in a choreographic sense.
Yeah.
I always loved making up dances, and my mum, like I said, she allowed me to do it. So I made it my first dance, like co-choreographed with my mum at like 7 years old.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and she'd be like, oh, so if you could do it, everyone else can do it. Like they all hated me, honestly.
Yeah.
They were like, stop making it so hard. And then I'd be like, oh, what about this move? And my mum was like, go on, keep going. And like she really nurtured that. So I am really grateful that like I was given that opportunity, because I know a lot of parents don't allow that.
And also it's good that your mum, your parents didn't like push you to go down the academic route, because I think a lot of parents want their kids to be like academically, go to uni, get a degree, be a lawyer, doctor, whatever. But the fact that they allowed you to do something practical and they supported you through that, I think that's so good.
Oh, thank you.
I think that's so good. So let's talk about the entrepreneurial side.
Yeah.
So what age did you say you started dancing again?
Like 2.
Like 2, yeah. So
Yeah.
through your like childhood years then, at what point did you think this is going to go somewhere and I need to like start thinking about maybe making a career out of it?
I think I always knew, do you know, like, it was like a thing, like boys when they're young, like I'm going to be a football player.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was always like I'm going to be a dancer.
Yeah.
But then where I was like taking it serious, where I was like, no, I am going to dance. I met my partner. We've been together like since I was 13.
Holy hell.
Yeah. So, and I always remember me talking to him on Facebook.
That's crazy.
I know.
Facebook chat.
Yeah. That's where we would talk to each other.
Yeah.
And I always remember even saying to him that I'm going to be a dancer, but knowing like I was taking it serious and making sure I was training really hard. So I think, I'd say from like the age of 12, 13, I knew it was going to be my career. And I was very positive. Like I had like which I'll talk about a bit later, like there was a little phase where I really just didn't believe in myself. Yeah. But from a young age, I was very motivated, thinking, I'm going to go to London. I am going to be a dancer. And my mum like, you might not get in. I was like, no, I will. Yeah. But it wasn't like cockiness. It was pure dedication.
And
to
belief
like,
in yourself.
Believing in myself, thinking, no, I'm going to do this. This is all I've ever wanted. So like I've always known since a young child then I've wanted to do it. And I think I was really putting in the work from like 12, 13, and I dedicated my whole life really. Like my friends like from high school who I'm like still really good friends with, they were like, who was Geo? Like they hardly saw me, but they knew why. Yeah. Because they knew I've always worked really hard. I've been very disciplined since a young age.
Any sort of success, it always comes at a cost, like some sort of cost. Yeah. So whether that's like socially, obviously you've got a real strong relationship, which is amazing. And like hats off to you for doing something so successful and maintaining a relationship from 13 to how old are you?
26.
Yeah, so literally 13 years. Yeah. That's amazing in itself. But like Reese Wabara, who does Manier Devoir, the brand.
Oh yeah, I literally bought an outfit on the other day.
Yeah, so he's like he's one of the founders and CEO. He's the CEO of MDV, yeah. Oh, and I was watching a podcast. I watched quite a few of his, to be fair.
You'll have to send that to me.
Yeah, he always says like any type of success always comes at a cost. Like it might be a small cost, big cost, whatever, but there's always like a balancing sort of thing. So like if you excel here, it'll come at a cost like over here or over here or over here. So
you've got to be selfish.
It's just good that you've maintained your friendships and also your relationship is so strong as well. Yeah. So hats off to you for that.
It is mad because like you've got to be selfish for like a certain amount of time, and I think it is communication for like me and my partner Connor. He always knew what I wanted, and I think and it's crazy to think we had such good communication at such a young age. He always knew that I wanted to go to London. I might get a job. This is before, obviously, like heels empowerment even became a thing. Like, obviously, he was there before all that, and he always knew that's what I wanted. And I remember I auditioned for a dance, like a dance company in Israel.
Yeah.
And me just going to that, I was more like upset if I got it than him.
Yeah.
I was like, what if I did get it? What would we do? He was like, I'm here no matter what. So I think just knowing that support, he supports my dream, and I think having your circle, number one, tight, and two, people who genuinely do believe in you is so important. I've learned over the years as people who pretend like they do, but then it comes down to it and they don't.
I agree with
so
you.
I think having a tight circle is so important.
So when you finished, say, high school, and did you go sixth form or anything? Or?
I went to a dance college.
So how did it go from the dance college? Like, you didn't set up Heels Empowerment straight away?
No.
So what did you do? Like, did you learn different styles of dance and stuff like that? Like,
yeah,
I'm guessing you had to sort of do that style, and then you bring it sort of together.
Yeah, that's actually quite true, because obviously you don't really learn heel style when you're like 12. It's a bit wrong. So, well, I would say like now people do, because you can kind of make it like age appropriate, but it wasn't really a thing when I was younger. Like, I remember seeing like heels dancers, but I don't think people were educated in knowing there's actually like a technique that goes into it. And like now people know it and it's a thing, but back then it really wasn't. So I always did ballet, like modern jazz, the like kind of like the classic styles that you do when you're a kid. And then oh god, I touched my mic, sorry. I told you I moved my hands. And so I finished school. I knew I was like, I just don't want to be in school, like doing like academic stuff, but I always tried my best, you know. It wasn't like I was like, oh, like fuck this, like I'm gonna be a dancer anyway. Like, I passed every exam. Like, I really did put
that's good, you
the
switched
hard
on
work.
as well.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say like I thrived in like, you know, maths or anything, but I made sure I had a tutor to make sure I passed, because at the end of the day, to get into a dance uni, you need to have the qualifications.
You still need something,
So I found my motivation to why, like my purpose to why to pass the exams, you know. So yeah, I went to a dance college, but on the side of that, before leading to go into dance college at 16, it was in Cardiff. I was doing like associate programs, and it was through, I don't know, you know, the style contemporary dance. So I got introduced to that when I was like 12, 13, and it's like professional dance companies. They have like associate programs for like kids who are like aspiring to be dancers, just like to kind of support their dreams, to help them to get into dance schools. So I did that, and that's when I found my love for contemporary dance, because it's like similar structure to ballet, but it's a bit more loose and a bit more freedom in the movement.
Okay.
And I think I knew I didn't want to do ballet because, well, I have tits and ass. You can't.
Say how it is.
Yeah. Like, I'm just gonna say how it is. Like, it's like you've got to be like, and it is like sad. Like, it's unfortunately the industry. It is very like body image like focus, and like you've got to be extremely thin to be ballet. Like, you've got to be like literally like.
When
this.
I think of ballet, I think of like prim and proper. Like,
I'm not
like,
that.
So
I am not that at all. Like, and also it's like little things like to do with your body. Like, I wasn't naturally flexible. Something I've worked hard on to get to where I am now. But it's like how your body is naturally. It relies on all. It's so many factors to be a ballet dancer, and the music. Like, as much as I love classical music and live music with the piano dancing, it just didn't do the same thing for me. With like contemporary dance, it was more like drums and
a bit
like
more of a beat. Like.
and like sometimes, which I'll get to, when I went to my dance school Laban, like we'd have live music every day. Sometimes a DJ would come in. It was so cool, and that's what I loved. So yeah, I found my love for that, and then I went to a dance college at 16. So it was full time training. And I did that from 16 to 18. It was called Rubicon Dance College in Splot. Yeah. So I did my full-time training there. And I'm really grateful, really, for that, because I was disciplined anyway. But, like, it taught me next level discipline. And it's crazy, some of the stories. Like, I don't know, it was like we were training for the army. Like, it was nuts. Like, but it's funny because our year was kind of like the last year where it was like really, really tough, and I only know that because I'll like speak to people who've also been to the same college, and I'm like, well, you didn't do that. So like before 8 a.m. we started at like 8ish, and we'd have to do 12 laps of the park every day. Then we'd have a fitness class straight away, then go into ballet. So by the time you do like in ballet, like a plie is like when you bend the knees and you got your feet sitting down.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
My legs would be shaking from all the squats and the 12 laps I just done.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and like we'd have a full day, and then obviously I was trying to like get a job. I would have a job like just like funny dancers call like normal jobs, like muggle jobs, like do you know like Harry Potter? Yeah,
standard jobs. Like.
yeah. So yeah, we were like, oh, that's a muggle job, and then we'd have our dance jobs. So I'd have my muggle job, and I've had a couple. Oh, it's like a proper dance thing. Yeah, dancers say it like a muggle job.
Funny as well.
Isn't it funny?
That's class.
You should say about like PT and like
mud bread.
Yeah.
Mud bread. Mud bread.
Filthy mud blood. Yeah, so.
This episode is brought to you by Envio Apparel, an activewear and lifestyle brand, and you can get 15% off your whole order with code CapableMinds15. Check out envioapparel.com or on socials, EnvioOfficial. Let's get back to the podcast.
So, so we'd have the muggle jobs, and I was trying to like do that on top of the associate programs, and it was so much going on, and it was like small things. Like I remember one day, and this is something that really stuck to me, like my Paul, who was like running the course at the time, he was really hard on me, like specifically me. And I'm at the time, like it was like a love-hate, like he would be either really tough on me or like he was very supportive. It was like, it was both. And now I can see it's because he saw potential.
Yeah.
And one day my bobble broke. So I didn't have a bobble foot to just tie my hair up. And as you can see, I have a lot of hair. So I'm not one of those who can actually like dance with my hair down. Like obviously now with the heels, what I do like is good. But with traditional dance, you don't really have your hair down.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, my bobble broke. Does anyone have a spare bobble? He's like, he told me off because my bobble broke. He said, where's your backup bobble? I was like, what? He's like, you need a backup bubble. Like, you always have backup.
Gotta prepare just in case.
Yeah, and it always taught me, like, you've got to be so organised in everything you do. So, and that's something that a lot of people say now. They're like, how do you fit everything in your schedule? I'm like, because I am so organised. So I'm really grateful for my experience at Rubicon. And yeah, and that's where I found my love for contemporary dance, I would say, because it was mainly that focus of dance. We did everything, but it was mainly contemporary, which then led me to then go, when I trained in London, I went to a dance school called Trinity Laban Conservatoire of Music and Dance.
How long were you there for?
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, I did my degree there.
Oh, okay.
So like, it's different as well. Like with dance uni, it's a conservatoire. So the difference between a normal uni and conservatoire, it's more like, do you know what you see on films, like a classic like dance school?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. So,
yeah,
like, yeah, in a way, like it's not like we do loads of academic stuff. Like I was in ballet every day, like at 8:30, you know, and I didn't have freshers. Like it's just not like,
it's different.
Like, it's not like a uni, you know. So I say uni, but we still always like go like school, like dance college, like school. So yeah, like, and that's when I moved to London, and I delved into more doing contemporary dance. And it was, my school that I went to was very like heavily influenced by creativity. So I loved it, and like I did really well there. Like I excelled there, and I think it's because I just love doing creative stuff. Like it's not creative obviously like what I'm doing now, but choreographically I had the opportunity to try things. And yeah, and I think it was a really good, at that time in my life, it was a great school for me to go to, because contemporary dance is not as bitchy as normal dance schools. Like you see like Step Up, those kind of dance schools, that is like commercial dance, which commercial dance is like what you see like on music videos, and kind of what I do now, that's like more like commercial dances. And then there's a musical theatre, like MT is like obviously all this all like, you know, Hairspray, Cats and all that. Like I never really liked that as much. It was more the commercial stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I wouldn't have survived. I wouldn't be here now, I don't think, still dancing, if I went to a school like that. Because I don't think my mental health would have been able to handle it. I think I needed the freedom, and like, to be honest, like people who do contemporary dance are quite chill people. Yeah. Like I would generally rock up in my pajamas, like not like genuine pajamas, but like it was all like loads of baggy clothes. Like no one really wore makeup, and no one was like really talking about each other really. But when you go to schools like commercial like schools, it's very cutthroat.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bitchiness, a lot of like eating disorders happen there.
Because they're trying to be that skinny.
Yeah.
Like what you said earlier with the ballet, they're trying to be that like skinny.
Like skinny and oh God, I got this fuck story. So like my friend went to a school like that, and I got into the same school as her as well, like which was more the MT commercial school, but I chose to go to Laban instead. And she said there was like a running joke of like, oh, I'm so hungry, just get a Diet Coke down you girl to fill you up. Yeah. So I just don't think for me at the time as well, my body type as well, because I have got like bigger thighs and I got a bum, I got boobs, and I got more hourglass figure, which now in the industry is more accepted. And like now, weirdly, everyone's like, oh, like I really want your figure, but back then it's still, even for commercial, it wasn't the same.
That's crazy, isn't it?
I know, it's
when you think about
nuts.
it.
So it's not just your danceability, and like even like you would either have to be, they'd say you have to play the fat girl role, or you'd have to be skinny. There was no in between.
Yeah.
So you either had to get fat, or be little. So the industry like can be really fucked.
That's so backwards.
I know.
Honestly.
And that's what I think, if I went into one of those schools, I wouldn't be here today.
And it makes you think like how many girls over that sort of period of time have left the dance school because of one of those two
100%.
things, and ended up like being mentally depressed or gone on to have long-standing eating disorders and stuff like that. And then it's gonna fuck what you do.
You know, it's savage, it's cutthroat. Like the dance, they do say like the dance industry, like especially with commercial and like MT, I would say, is like so cutthroat. It's one of the most cutthroat industries you can go into, because everyone wants to be a dancer. Like you go to London, everyone's a dancer, you know.
Because you think, right, when I think about like heels, dancing in heels and stuff like that, straight away I'm thinking about music videos.
Yeah.
So do you think that's where some of the drive comes from? Because they see that they can interact with like these superstars, like, I don't know, Usher, Chris Brown, whatever. They could be in their music videos. Yeah,
probably. And I think you see, it's all about what you look like.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's be real. It is like the industry. Obviously not what Heels Empowerment stands for. I'm just want to make that clear. Very separate. What I stand for is Heels Empowerment, and then what the industry's like. It is what you look like at the end of the day. And I would say like artists such as like Beyonce, like Lizzo and stuff, they're celebrating more like people who are like different. And it's not your bog standard like 5'6" blonde like chick who is like really skinny, you know, and like nothing wrong with that if that's what you are, but that's what the industry's been for such a long time, and now we are finally seeing change, which is amazing.
I think you see that across many fields as well. Like when you think about, you know, like Victoria's Secret, like the typical Victoria's Secret model back in the day.
It's very similar to modeling industry, actually, I would say.
It was really, really like ridiculously skinny, and that's what they had to look like.
They would starve themselves.
There was no like middle ground, or they didn't give a fuck about your health.
No.
They just wanted you to look a certain way.
They like to smoke and drink loads of coffee.
Yeah, gone. And
that's the same as dance. Like on the breaks, a lot of like people, even in my uni, and it wasn't even as bad, you know. Like some schools, they put like people on diets and that. But like and this is what I'm trying to say, like it's very different, my experience, which I'm so grateful for. Like, you know, I'd see people like, instead of having lunch, they'd have a fag. And I'm like,
that's crazy.
Oh my God, but I got raised very well by like my parents, like honestly, they raised me so well, and I'm so grateful because I grew up with such a great mindset towards food. And everything was cooked fresh when I was a kid, and I wasn't afraid of eating a bowl of pasta. Like I'm like bon appetit. Like I was ready to eat the whole pasta. And like Connor, my partner, his family call me the bin. Because like basically.
The bin, that's funny.
They call me the bin, honestly.
That's so funny.
So like there'll be any leftovers, they're like, oh no, they don't call me Geo, but they're like, Georgia, do you want anything? And I'm like, yeah, bring it in. And I'm just there eating the leftovers because my relationship to food is so different, and so I would be eating, I wouldn't let that like sidetrack me, because I knew that like it's like petrol, what you put in your car, like that's what makes you run the car.
Exactly.
And then if you don't feel your body correctly, is a mental thing as well. You're not going to be able to think as like clear.
You get like brain fog and all
brain
that.
Brain fog, and I wasn't about that.
So let's talk about Heels Empowerment.
Yeah.
So your baby.
My baby.
How did this, what made you like make that massive step and starting your own business, and all the experience that you've had, negative or positive, from the other stuff that we've just mentioned, how did you think in your head that you were going to get rid of that and do something, what you're doing now, which is empowering?
So I was so lost when I graduated, and I think that was a really important thing to go through. Like, we all focus on the high sometimes, but I think by going through that shit really is the reason why I'm where I am with Heels Empowerment today. So when I graduated, I just didn't have a clue what I wanted to do. So yeah, my business was like an accident. It wasn't really planned, and I didn't see it first of all as a business. You know, obviously now like it is a full on like business, but I started going to different classes, and I realised I did lose my passion, unfortunately, for contemporary dance. It just wasn't giving me that same buzz as when it did when I started it like 5-6 years ago.
Why? Was it like boredom, or was it
boredom?
Like,
I think it's boredom. Like we say, like being an institution, like sometimes it can just like suck the fun out of it.
Yeah.
And you know, like we're doing it as a profession, like it does, the fun goes out of it because you're taking it so serious. And I think I then was gradually, like, without even realising, looking at music videos and like looking at classes that was like more commercial, like heel stuff. I was like thinking, I really regret doing it. And the back of my mind, I was thinking, I think I've done the wrong thing. I was like, oh, it's too late though. I'm 21, because that's another thing.
Too late.
But I know it sounds crazy. Now I'm saying it's so crazy, but like, and this is the thing with the industry. You've got to be young, like starting off. Like dancers, a lot of dancers, probably like 10 years ago, I would say, retire like at 30.
That's crazy.
It's kind of like athletes.
It's like football, yeah.
Yeah, it's like being an athlete, you know? So, but now, like, I know, like, one of the London dancers, she's like Dua Lipa's like choreographer.
Oh, that's class.
She's like almost 40 and she's still rocking it. So, you know, it's still happening. And like my friend, my really good friend Cresta, she was the supporting act for Victoria Monet the other day, like dancing. And like, and she's in her 30s. This was like unheard of like 10 like years ago. Like people still like really doing good in the industry. So in my head, I was like, oh, I've missed my mark. How am I going to compete with the industry? They've been doing this stuff for so long now. How am I going to do it? And I thought, right, that's it. I am just going to start dancing again for fun. So I was, at the same time as all this happening, I moved back, I saved a little bit.
Yeah.
And then what I would do, I would subletting off a friend. A friend of mine, he got a dance contract in Italy. So he had his room going in London. Yeah. So I moved back there just to see how it was, just to get a feel of London. I fucking hate London though. Like I could never live there again. No, it was a very lonely place. Oh yeah. Very lonely place, and I probably now wouldn't feel like it. But it's just that thing of like knowing. I knew as well Connor like wouldn't want to live there. And again, as much as he said he would support me, I've realised how much of a home bird I really am. Yeah. So it's funny, like when someone does really support you, it doesn't even change it. Like it is down to you and what you really want. So I could have used like Connor as an excuse to be like, oh no, I need to be calm. Like he wants me. Like, it wasn't anything to do with him at all. And when I moved back to London, one of my friends, she has been in the industry for years. So she's actually 10 years older than me. Yeah. And she was like, why just go to classes? Like, we'll just go for fun. I thought, yeah, I just need to reintroduce fun.
Fun back, yeah.
And that's why we all start a hobby, isn't it? Because we find it fun. And that's something that sticks with Heels Empowerment is it's not that deep. It's just a dance.
You gotta have fun.
Yeah. I'm not saving lives. I'm not like my friend, Dr. Lil, as I call her. Like, she's saving lives, you know? It's very different, like chill the fuck out. So I was like, right, let's just have fun again. And then she's like, oh, my friend is teaching a heels class. Do you want to come? I thought, yeah, like I've never tried a proper heels class before. And it's at like the main studio. It's called Base, which is in London. And I thought, right, let's go. You never know what'll happen. So I had my shoes and they weren't like the proper shoes, like, which is really cute looking back. I was so naive. Like I just wore like shoes that I'd wear like more than a night out, you know? And oh my God, the feeling I got, it And I always knew from a young age, like I knew I could dance in like a sensual way. I had that natural way of moving, but it was never really like celebrated for me.
Yeah.
It was always like, you need to, you know, a bit less. Like it was always like,
tone it down, they say.
Tone it down, yeah. And then when I was obviously at Laban, it was slightly different because it was contemporary dance. So it was allowed, but not through it, because the style's different. It is different. Do you know what I mean? So I remember that feeling. I was like, oh my God, the feeling on my body was like no other. It felt like a superpower that got created. I thought, I feel like this is me. But I didn't think this was going to be my like industry.
Yeah.
I did not think that at all. I thought I just want more.
So from then, what did you do then?
So I just kept on training and like
to the same class.
Going to other classes as well. And I just was so invested in the style, but again, like not seeing it as a job, which I think was really important for me because I didn't put the serious tone on it. And then I was going back and forth home, and like I had a lot of stuff going on like in my family, like at the time, which felt right then to move back home. But like I said, I knew London wasn't right for me. And it's really funny actually, my mum, she was like, right, you need to be in London. Like I almost put an offer down on a flat, which is crazy. And I remember standing outside of a tube station on the phone to my mum and dad, crying my eyes out, going, I don't know what I want, like, I don't know whether to go for it, it just doesn't feel right. And my mum's like, you have to be in London to be in the industry, which at the time, correct. It's not, and like my mum's a dance teacher, she knows. My dad's going, no, you need to move home. And I was like, and I knew he was right. I was like, no, I don't know. He's like, honest to God, I got a funny feeling you're going to set something up for yourself here. I was like, no, I don't think that's going to be possible.
Go with your gut, haven't you?
Oh, and I listened to my gut, and my dad, and he'll say, "No, I told you, I'm the reason my heels are with them." So wow, and I'm like, shut up, Dad.
See, we're always right, men. We're always right.
Men know, but my dad knew.
Yeah.
And then I just kept on going to classes. Even like when I was back in Cardiff, I would go to London, you know, because at the end of the day, that's where the training is. And I was teaching other styles, like in Cardiff. I was freelancing. So I was like doing like music videos now and then for more like local artists. I was like doing photo shoots because I modelled, like just bits and bobs, really being a freelancer life, you know. And I was a shot girl as well in nightclubs, which helped me massively. That's probably one of the biggest things that I will take away from shot girling is how to speak to people.
Oh yeah.
If you speak to someone drunk, you can speak to anyone.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing. Like if you can, it's a skill. And like to know how would I approach a group of men?
Yeah.
How would I approach a couple, a group of women? You know, women in their 50s. And I think it's really good to know like how to talk to a wide range of people.
100%. And
that's what shot girling taught me. I moved home, and then one day I was just choreographing. As I do, I'll just like randomly like be sat down in my inspiration.
Yeah.
And I was just in the mirror, and I remember it so well at my when I was living with my mum and dad. And I was like, oh, this would be cute to do in heels. So, oh my God, I just made up a heels routine, which now it's not a heels routine. But you've got to start somewhere, you know? And I was like, oh my God, I should teach this. And I did a one-off class, and like it was in my gym that I went to at Olympia.
Yeah.
So my friend who used to run the gym, he was like, well, yeah, you can have like the studio that like we do some of the spin classes in.
Big up Otis.
Go for it. Yeah, big up Otis. And actually like he's one of the people who really supported me during Heels Empowerment, and which is like another subject in itself, like men. Like because I do have like a few like men who are like my friends who really support Heels Empowerment, and I think it's nice just to have like female and male friends who support you.
Yeah.
And Otis, I will say, like even to this day, is someone who does like really support me.
You know what's mad, right? Maybe about a month ago, he was in the gym,
Oh.
and I was speaking to him about the podcast and stuff like that, and he was on about his time at Olympia, and he said how good you're doing to me, and this was before me and you spoke. But
that's crazy.
Just without you even knowing,
Yeah.
like he does big you up. He bigged you up to me, and
That's
that was
great.
before we spoke.
Yeah,
So,
no, he's like
yeah.
a brother, you know.
Yeah.
Like it was funny the first time we met. He was like, "Oh my God, you look just like my sister," and I was like, "Oh my God, no way!" And like all of his family then weirdly was like, "Oh my God," because she's in Florida, I think she lives. And they were like, "It's like having her back."
Yeah.
I was like, "Welcome to the family." It was great. So like, it was really nice being there. Like it was great to be supported, and it wasn't obviously heels empowerment where it is today.
Yeah.
I only had like 9 people who came to my first class, which, to be honest, that's quite good for like
Yeah,
the first
100%.
class. It was tiny. 2 of the people were my best friends, and it's just great that, not great, sorry, it's just crazy to think that that's where it started.
Humble beginnings, isn't it?
Humble beginnings, yeah, and like, you know, it was in where I've grown up in Ely, and then, yeah, and I started just doing workshops then, just one-off, but it was funny because I did hold back for a long time because of like bad experiences I had with some people. When you start something new, people don't like it.
100%.
Yeah, jealousy, which I see now, you know, just intimidated by what you could potentially offer. And yeah, so I started doing workshops and I thought, fuck it, I can't live for anyone else. I need to do this for me. It feels gut feeling. I'm so about gut feeling.
Yeah.
And it felt so right. And then I started weekly classes. And I will say, from the get-go, it was such a hit. And looking back now, I saw that without even knowing a business head, that there was a gap in the market.
Yeah.
No one really in Cardiff was offering at that time adult classes. And this is the problem with dance. You have a hobby for women. Women don't have hobbies. I don't know if you've noticed.
It's hard for me because I work in a gym. So I see a lot of women, their hobby is training.
Yeah, then that's what's great about gyms.
Yeah.
But before the gym, what did women do?
I don't know.
Not a lot.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that's what's amazing about gyms now.
Yeah.
But even, say for people who don't like to gym, they go home after
What
work
else are
and
you
then
gonna
their
do,
partners are probably going to rugby, football, but then women don't have anything.
Yeah.
And I saw that like, whoa, why are we stopping? When we're 18, we go to uni and that's it. There's nothing offered for adults. Age shouldn't be the limit to why you should do a hobby.
Yeah.
So I thought, no, I want to do adult classes. And I kids, I just don't vibe with teaching kids. Like, I will sometimes, but teaching adults is what my passion is. I thought, right, I want to teach women. And the reason why I think Heels Empowerment has lasted as long as it is because why I started the classes. And it's because I never wanted anyone to have the same trauma, really, as I've had in the industry. I want everyone to feel welcome. Unfortunately, you go to a class and people be like, who are you?
Yeah.
And if you wasn't known, then you're no one.
It's clicky, like.
Very clicky. And I didn't want any clickiness. And it's funny, the moment I spot clickiness starting to kind of brew, I end that shit straight away.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, everyone is welcome. I'll talk to everyone in that class. I'll reply to every single DM. I want everyone to feel welcome. And it's how you talk to people with the brand. It's so important. And it's not because it's a business sense, it's because I want everyone to feel seen.
And also, if they're getting that sort of communication and that sort of loving feeling from you as the owner of the business, people buy into people. They don't just buy into the business, you know what I mean? So if they like you and you're really like impressionable on them and you're really smiley and happy and motivational, they're gonna want to come and spend their money with you.
Well, exactly. Like people do buy into the person who runs it.
Yeah.
And like now, like I'm very fortunate that people have bought also into the brands, not just me. So whatever Heels Empowerment as a business does, they trust it.
Yeah.
And I think another thing is that everyone's welcome. It doesn't matter what body shape you are, like what size, age, race, gender, whatever you are, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I would get a lot of messages, oh, I'm too fat, I'm just going to go to the gym and then I'll be with you. I'm like, no, you should appreciate how you look.
Yeah.
Now you should be able to look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful. And I think that was a big shock for a lot of women. And it's beautiful now. I see all these transformations.
No, I love that.
And it's not even like, and of course, like I say, like we can always improve our health, but you need to appreciate what you see in the mirror today. Like stop wishing everything away. Oh, in a month I'll love myself a bit more. No, you should love yourself like every single day.
100%.
Look yourself in the eye and tell yourself you're beautiful.
Yeah. It's kind of similar to PTing, you know, because we get a lot of that in our industry as well. Where like people, I get it quite often where people are like, oh, I'm going to train for about a month. I'm going to try and lose as much weight as possible. And then I'm going to come to you for training. And it's
I just don't get the logic.
No, this is why you should, if you want to train and you want to look better for yourself and for your health, just come in now and we'll have a blast.
Yeah.
And you'll learn a bunch of stuff and you can take that forward into your own training.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you said is literally so similar to PT. And what do you think what would you like people to take away from your classes? Like, so the women who come in, who might be like different shapes, different sizes, like as a whole, what would you like them to go to your class and then take away? Like if you could be a fly on the wall.
If I was a fly on the wall.
Yeah, like, and they were speaking, like, how would you like them to kind of interact about your class?
I think they would want to feel like they felt welcomed.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing for me, is knowing that they're welcome. Like it's a community, it's not a clique.
Yeah.
So whoever you are, you'll get a warm welcome, and all the girls will talk to you. Like, it's not like, oh, we don't know you yet. I'll say, for example, one of the girls, Stacey, she's been coming for like 4 years now. I'll be like, Stacey, this is so-and-so.
Yeah.
And they'll instantly talk to each other. And I want people to feel like they've been watched during the class, they've been hyped up, and they feel more empowered, like, when they leave the room.
You know what, right? So obviously, because we're doing the podcast, obviously we'll be doing a little bit of research on your pages and stuff like that. But you know, like where you do a dance and then all your girls are around you, sort of thing, and you can hear like different voice from there, voice from there, voice from there, voice from there.
Like
going,
fucking obsessed.
Hey! Yeah, that like community like hype. I love that. That's class. And how do the girls who maybe aren't as confident, obviously you're a really confident person, you've been doing it for your whole life.
Yeah.
So how would you get someone who's not as confident as you, or maybe looks a bit different to you, how would you get them to go and do something like that in front of a group? Like
nurturing.
Yeah.
I think it takes some people a bit of time
Yeah.
to get there, and obviously I build up a relationship with each and every single person in that room, and I know where they are kind of in like life as well, not just when they come to the studio, and I can see them like growing and blossoming, and I'll know the perfect time to go, you're going to do a solo.
Yeah.
And they're like,
I bet,
right, you fucking get it now. And they're like, can you do on the side for me? I'm like, yeah, I'll do on the side so you can copy me, you know? I think, it's just knowing like they've come a long way, and sometimes they don't realise how far they've come. And it's only when you highlight that to them and go, no, we're going to appreciate you today.
Yeah.
Get up and we're going to watch you. And I think that's another thing, a big thing of mine is, even when you're on the sides, which you've pointed out, obviously, everyone watches each other.
Yeah, I love that. I love the fact that they all like shout and
Yeah.
they're all like bigging you up when you do like a move or whatever. So can we talk a little bit about the outfits?
Yes.
So obviously sometimes there's very little.
Yeah.
So when you have like a different a girl who maybe, like, back to my point, who maybe not as confident.
Yeah.
Again, how do you bring them into sort of feeling better in their own skin? Like, what do you and the class give them so they're more accepting of themselves, and they're able to put more on show, should we say?
Yeah, I think this was something that even for me was quite a big deal when I first started. And something I really got over this year was a fear of, it sounds ridiculous, but dancing without tights.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's like feeling, I can't even put it into words. I think all women, I don't know if you get it, like sometimes being in a bikini and then you're like, oh my God, is anything going to come out, you know? And like that fear.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I've gone through, and I think it's important for them to see me wearing different outfits.
You got to show yourself being vulnerable.
Yeah.
In front of your...
They see me being vulnerable, and
Yeah.
if I don't make myself vulnerable, why the fuck would they want to be vulnerable?
Yeah.
So I think because they see me vulnerable, and sometimes I will come in the studio looking like a hobo, you know? I'll have no makeup on, like hair just about brushed, maybe
Yeah.
not even brushed sometimes, haven't washed my hair in 2 weeks, you know? And they see me rocking up in the Crocs. I'm in my baggy hoodie, like covered up, you can't see my figure at all, and then all of a sudden I'll strip off and I'm like, woo!
Yeah.
And then I'm like just in like a bikini, and then they're like,
What the fuck?
yeah, like what the fuck? So, but then they see me in, like, so they know if they want to come in just like a bikini, they can.
Yeah.
If they want to come straight after work, some of them, I swear, honestly, someone danced in scrubs before.
Well, like hospital scripts. That's class. There's an idea for a music video.
Honest to God, it was hilarious. And like, we were just laughing, so they know. And I think that's what's important. Like, sometimes wearing less for some people is not as exposing as wearing less makeup and wearing baggier clothes.
I see.
So for some people, it's not even wearing less clothes. But for me, I would say it was definitely wearing less. And I think it is pressure from society of women going, which I've dealt with a lot of judgment, as you can probably imagine. And people even like commenting, saying that, oh my God, Geo's like now a stripper. And I'm like, to be honest, like fair play to strippers. Yeah. I think like you're making your money. Like I'm like not, I will never judge anyone's job, but why have you labelled that as a negative? And why is that an issue? That's obviously something that you're dealing with as a problem, so don't put your problems onto me.
It's usually someone who's not confident in their own
exactly.
skin, so they don't like seeing someone who's confident.
And I just feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
But like back then it was like, oh my God, how to deal with the judgment. I thought, no, fuck that. I want to create a safe space for women. So without even saying anything, people know if they want to, they can.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a given. As soon as you walk into the space when you come to a heels empowerment class, you were safe.
Yeah.
So I think it's just the brands and how we've built it. They know if they wanted to wear a G-string, they could wear one. Yeah. And then if they wanted to wear the baggiest clothes and turn up in their pajamas, they could do that. If they want to wear a full face of makeup, people will literally be like, slay. Yeah. And then if someone's skin is glowing and they got no makeup on, it's like, oh my God, babe, like what's your skincare? Like it's like all these different things, and like we'll make sure if we see someone going through a process of gradually having less and less clothes on, we'll applaud it. So like one of the girls, she said actually this week in class, she was like, I can't believe I'm dancing in fishnets. But it's hilarious, like, because you look at her and you're like, you are so beautiful. But it doesn't matter what shape and size you are.
Yeah.
It's a mental thing.
Yeah, it's how you love yourself.
It's how you love yourself. So someone who traditionally you think would be less confident is actually so confident because they love themselves, like inside out. And there's some people you see on there, like painfully like insecure. But if you saw them on a night out, if they just walked in a club, you probably think, oh, they're so confident. So I don't think it actually matters what you look like sometimes, it's how you see yourself.
100%. It's always the person in the mirror.
It is.
And if you're happy with what you see, then you're going to be more confident. Simple as that. So, you know, when you got started, did you seek any help from sort of mentors or anyone who you could sort of lean on in an entrepreneurial sense when you started Heels Empowerment?
I think, it was like more like support. And I would say now I have more like mentors / like friends like in the industry, which is amazing. But first of all, not many, I would say, but one of them was Otis starting off. He was like, you know, use the studio, we support you, we'll repost it. And that is so powerful, just reposting something.
100%.
It's so important. Like even now to this day, if like, you know, someone will message me, like obviously like people who I know, they'll be like, can you help me? I'm starting a new business. I'm like, 100%. Like, do you want any advice? Like, do you want any help? Because I know back then how important that was. So I would say, that was a really big thing. And then I would say just like my friends as well. Like they would just be there for me and just support me no matter what. Be turning up to those classes for me. And like, not that they're a dancer at all.
But it looks busier then, doesn't it?
And also, it looks busier, yeah.
When you're putting it on social media and stuff like that, people, it's like a perception of, oh my God, there's so many people there, but
I need to get involved.
3-4 of them are your friends or family or whatever, but they're being there to help create that illusion, and then more people are going to come.
And that's what it was, first of all. And then I'm trying to think of other little bits and bobs. I would say then, of course, like my friends who are self-employed, which I think when you're self-employed and have a business, it's so important to surround yourself with people who are self-employed. So I'd say, first of all, it wasn't people in the industry that helped me. It was business owners. And one of my friends, her name is Sophie. A lot of people know her as Bella Butte.
Okay, yeah.
Or So Stylish. I think that's the name of her Instagram. But like, it's a style page. Yeah. And I met her through modelling, like makeup modelling, and I would talk about my business. And I think it was just really nice to know you're doing everything okay. And then she would give me tips. So I would say Sophie is a big part of what helped me see it as a business and not get people to take the piss out of me. because I'm a big people pleaser.
Yeah.
So like trying to shift it from being like the nice guy to, unfortunately, sometimes when you have a business, you need to make some like hard decisions sometimes.
You gotta look past the the haters as well.
The haters,
Because like
yeah,
they
yeah.
will come with anyone who's trying to do something or put themselves out there.
Yeah.
Obviously you post a lot of stuff on social media,
Yeah.
so you're basically putting yourself in the spotlight.
It's vulnerable.
To be criticised.
Yeah.
And you kind of got to separate your personal and mental well-being from some haters who don't have a fucking clue
Yeah.
what you've done to get to this point.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like Sophie was, and still is to this day, like, I don't know if you've seen recently, someone like copied my choreography in Brazil, and one of my clients found it, and I couldn't believe it, and I showed her, and she was like, right, okay, let's make a video, put the video side to side, let's do this. Like straight away it was like, okay, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of support that you need. Like just a simple, let me help you make the video.
Yeah, like arm around, like
Arm
this is
around.
what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make it right. Yeah.
And I would say another person is my friend Rory. He has, well, he doesn't do any more, but RF, I don't know if you've heard of him.
Oh, I think
Rory
so.
Fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't do it anymore. Like he's gone more into like website stuff. And he was a huge reason why I took Heels and Power serious as a business. He helped me with my business structure.
Yeah.
So I met him as well. Modelling. Modeling's helped me a lot, I think.
Networking's key.
Yeah, no,
It is.
and I think this is
Yeah.
another thing. I'm such a chatterbox, and I like love connecting with people. And it's not for an opportunity. I'm just such a people's person.
Yeah.
And I met him because him and his girlfriend, they asked me if I could model his clothing he had at the time. And so I went along, and I don't know, I just really connected with him. And yeah, he's just a really good friend. And like, he's actually like kind of on the team now.
Yeah.
And he does the website stuff. So
Oh, there
he
you go.
created my new
Yeah.
website.
Oh, nice.
And he was the one who sat me down for hours, writing down the business structure. How can it develop and not plateau? And because he's been in business for a lot longer than me, and
Yeah.
he's a bit older and wiser.
Yeah.
And he helped me to have a man's attitude
Oh, yeah.
and thinking like a man.
Yeah.
And which was very interesting. And now like, I'm so grateful reflecting for that moment of thinking, no, like think big, like think you can do it. Don't doubt yourself like a woman would. And I was like, yeah, do you know, fuck this, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
for it. And I had so many doubts, the fear of like then introducing people on as like instructors, having a team, now being a boss to them. It's crazy to think that just because one person was like, no, you can do this, this is the reason why I'm here today, and I'll always still to this day thank him. He's like, it was all you. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, but it didn't feel like it was all me. But he was like, no, like I just told you, you did it. And to have friends and mentors like that is so important.
It's good that it
Yeah.
helps you be more like open-minded.
Yes.
And I guess this is the problem we've had like with the podcast, like I said to you before, trying to get women on there to come and champion female business is really hard. Like trying to get them to come on and actual showcase to the audience like what they do, how they've become a boss, and the fact that you've
They don't even want to say they're a boss.
Yeah, the fact that you've
Yeah.
come on and you're literally, you got that mindset. You say like a man, but now I think women should own it as well.
Yeah.
Like the way you are is like it's inspirational.
Oh, thank
hopefully
you.
to other women as well.
And I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like thinking like a man, but actually, why do women not think like this?
Why is it thinking like a man? Like,
Yeah.
Why is it thinking like a man? It should be
It should be just think like a person.
Exactly, yeah. It should be, yeah. But I think this day and age, I think it is getting more like that.
It is.
And more women like yourselves are getting into business.
Yeah.
And I can't commend you enough for
Thank
the
you.
journey you've been on. So can we just go back to the copycat in Brazil? What was the message you had from your friend? Like was it like, oh my God, look at this fucking bitch, she copied the routine. Like what? Give me what you said.
So I've experienced like copying, like like copy paste energy.
Yeah,
People see you doing well, they're like, I want that.
yeah,
It's happened a lot. So I'm kind of used to it, which is something that's taken a lot of like mental strength, I would
Yeah.
say. And actually, I don't know if you saw my story last night. I was doing like a question and answer
Okay.
thing, like on my personal account, and like it's funny how like a certain time in your life, like I don't know if you have it with like videos you make maybe for content and stuff.
Yeah.
Like so the charity ball I did last year, which I'm sure we'll talk about the charity ball. When I created the chair dance, which people know me for, like it's like I was saying the industry even like and just people in general like, oh, you're the girl with the hat, and I'm like yeah. I'm like, that's me. And so like it is hilarious. I'll go like, that's where I taught in Dublin, not yesterday, day before. I'd been in Dublin before coming here, and that's how they found me, was through TikTok because of that chair dance.
That's mad.
It's fucking nuts. And like they were saying like, someone asked me what's your favourite choreography, and it's the weights that choreography held, and it's because of that time I really doubted myself, and it's so much shit happened with like copying of like my business structure and stuff, but is a compliment at the same time because it means I'm doing well. So
exactly, yeah.
Hair flick. So it can be a compliment, but obviously it is a bit fucking annoying as well because you work so hard, but people see through it.
Especially when they don't credit you. That's the thing.
And this is what really peed me off, that this person was on the other side of the world. So I got that message. God, I remember so well. I had so much shock horror.
Tell me what you said, go on.
Do you know what? It actually wasn't that bad what I said. Like, I'm a very emotional person. I don't know if you know star signs very well, but I'm a Cancer. Like, I am such an emotional person. I have so much empathy, and I think this is why Heels Empowerment is where it is today, because I'm so empathetic. I'm always like, how do you feel? Like, do you want a hug? Like, I'm not one who's like, fuck her.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been like that kind of person. I think people see through that as well. So when I got the message, it's actually from a friend / client who's she's very big on TikTok. She's got like over 1 million followers. She actually got like, I swear she got like 1 million followers. She made a dance account for my classes. Yeah. And it just did so well. And like, she's more like beginner into foundation level, but like people are loving it. So I'm just like, yay queen, like you're doing amazing. Always shouts me out, I love it. And she was like, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but I think this is your choreography of your chair dance. I was like, oh, and I looked at it. I thought, oh my God. Honestly, like my heart sunk like so deep in my stomach. And it's just typical me. Like you would never think, obviously, if you saw like, fuck her. Yeah. I actually went, no, surely not. I thought, this can't be happening. I thought, no, it's not that bad. Like, it's okay. Because I'm always making excuses for people. Yeah. That's how I always think. Like, no, like, because I think, oh, no, maybe she just didn't realise I was making excuses. And I went, no. And it took me a minute to process it. And it's someone who's like got like over 4 million followers. So she is big, like so she's a content creator. Yeah. She's not a dancer. And like, it took me a while to figure out what was happening, because what actually happened was that the content creator, like the influencer, she asked her dance teacher in Brazil, can you teach me this choreography? Oh yeah. And the teacher was like, that's not really allowed. She was like, oh please, can you do it? She went, okay, fine. Thinking they're in Brazil, then I'm not ever gonna find out. But at that time, the reason why I went like viral on TikTok was because of that chair dance. So like it got like, I think like 2.5 million views. Like it was huge on TikTok, that chair dance. And since that song I've used, people use it because of me, like around the world. And I see it, I'm like, oh my God, like crazy. Because I searched for that song for ages. Like I did my research to try and find the perfect song. And like it's crazy now because of that. That song's on Spotify now because it's so popular. It wasn't even on Spotify when I found it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. So it's nuts. And I remember like just being like, okay, so is she teaching it or someone else telling her what to do? Like it wasn't even like, what the fuck? It was like trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And I was meant to be doing work. Yeah. So I was really annoyed. Not the fact she saw my choreography, it ate into my business time. So I had to not give to my business because of some idiot who hasn't considered, who's not haven't taken into consideration, but that's stealing. Yeah. And you can actually go to court for this as well. Like, and a lot of people didn't realise how serious it is. It's like anything, like, you know, like, it's like Chris Brown singing a song and then someone going, this is my song. And you're like, no, that's not your song.
It's like copyright.
It's copyright. And I just remember I was in the house by myself, which for me, I love being around people. So this was bad for me. I was like, I just went, fuck! And I just like shouted out like, fuck! Like, and it was like a fuck, how do I handle this? Not, fuck, I want to beat her up or anything like that. It was like, fuck, what do I do?
Get a flight now.
Yeah, and I was like,
straight to Brazil.
yeah, I'm like, I'm on my way. No, and like, I just didn't know what to do. I felt powerless.
Yeah.
I felt weak. It's crazy how I felt physically, and I just burst out crying. And I remember I just called one of my instructors, sobbing on the phone, going, she's just taking it and she can just do it like that. They were like, bitch, no. They're like, we're gonna do something about this. So that's when I spoke to my friend Sophie.
Yeah.
She made the video. I did a big caption, and I didn't slander her or anything or say anything bad, because at the time I didn't quite know what was going on. Obviously, I found out she spoke to the teacher, and you know, rah, rah, like that. And yeah, and I made that video.
So did you message her?
Yes, but she was ignoring me.
Oh, okay.
Shock.
She didn't answer you once?
What's that?
Did she answer you at all?
Afterwards.
Oh.
So, oh my God, my phone blew up. That video I think that's the most viewed video I got on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And weirdly, I only know that because yesterday, me and one of the instructors, because obviously I went to Dublin, and she was just saying like how well I'm doing. It was like, what is the most viewed video? And funny enough, we looked, yes, I went, it's that one. And it's just incredible the support you get from people. And you didn't even know you're getting supported by them.
Yeah.
And like people are like, no, I'm watching you from far. Like, I'm fucking loving what you're doing. Like, keep going. Like, this is bullshit. You're doing so well. It's so wrong that they're doing this. And honest to God, I couldn't believe the support. And it kind of made me realise how respected I am.
Yeah.
Not just in the industry, but also in Cardiff and Bristol and around the UK. Obviously, like, this is my hometown. And like, people who don't even dance, I've never spoken to in my life, just messaging me. And I thought, wow, like, so it made me realise that I'm actually really loved, which was a beautiful moment. And that night I was meant to be going over what I was teaching in my class. Had no time, obviously. And that night in class, it was really like, and I cried. And I'm not one to like cry in front of like my clients, like the queens, as we call them, the queens. Like, I don't know, like I'm meant to be strong for them. Yeah. But I just broke down, and like even talking about it now, I just remember that feeling, going, fuck this, let's turn it into a positive. So let's actually do that choreography tonight. Yeah. So we did it that night without the chair and the hat, because obviously there's space and we only had an hour, and that routine takes me about like 2 to 3 hours to teach because it's so technical. Yeah. And and I remember that night that do you know how you said the support you see? It was just out of this world. Yeah. Like, I was just walking to get in my position, and everyone was like, go on, Geo, let's go, like, let's go, come on, fuck it, let's go. And I'm like, it was so overwhelming, that support. And I just think I'm so blessed. Like, I'm so blessed. So that girl, yeah, she might have all these followers and people who follow her, but they're not supporters. And also, she'll never be you. She'll never be me. Never be you, so. And what was annoying about it, which was the frustrating part, she's not a professional dancer, and she could have done more credit to my work. And it's my work. Like, I spent a lot of time creating this 100%. In my kitchen. Like, I spent so much time and energy and effort to create this, and she just took it like that and didn't even like. She could have asked if I could teach it on Zoom, and she could have done it more credit and give the credit to me. And as well, like, that piece was I performed at my first ever charity event, and that event held so much impact. We raised so much money for charity. We raised like almost $8,000 that year for Welsh Women's Aid. That's amazing. And to think someone can just take it like that was scary. But now actually I think people know, people support you. And the reason why I think people support me so much is because what I do for other people. Yeah. So I'm beyond grateful. So actually it is a negative, but actually people see through bullshit. Yeah. And that's what I think is quite funny. So yeah, people will try and copy you, but they're never you, because you're your own superpower. Exactly. And it's good that you can take strength from all the people around you to help 100% uplift you, because you're usually the one doing the uplifting. And so I lent on them. Exactly. And then like they was a big support, not just like it was my family, my friends, people who I don't even fucking know,
Yeah.
all the queens at Heels Empowerment, the instructors, all these people, I thought, oh my God. And like, there's people who I didn't even know knew me. And I thought, what the hell? And it's such a beautiful moment. So I am like, my heart like melts, like thinking like, wow, like I am so, so much gratitude, honestly.
That's amazing. So what would you say, moving on from that, is the most rewarding part of your journey so far?
I think the amount of women I can help, and it's not even the dancing. Yeah, you know, we have fun. I teach them technique and how to dance, but actually is what I do for people on a deeper level.
Like mindset.
And just, unfortunately, a lot of my clients are survivors of like domestic abuse, and that's why I started my charity balls. And it's only when I started doing private lessons, I realised how bad it is, that what women go through. And obviously, like, men go through like domestic abuse as well, but and I think it's a given. Obviously, women unfortunately go through more. So I lost my train of thought then. So I started doing private lessons, funny enough, at Olympia.
Yeah.
So I started my privates there. So it was quite early doors, actually. I started doing private lessons. And I just remember, like, people opening up to me saying, I've been through this. I'm like, oh my God, like, I can't believe it. Because I'm very grateful that my relationship with Connor has been positive, not even positive, normal.
Yeah.
Like, healthy. And I never realised how healthy my relationship was until people shared their trauma. And it was like a pattern that was getting created. People, because of the energy that I give out, people feel like they can trust me. And because of that, I was hearing these mad stories of like what women was going through. I thought, oh my God, like, it shocked me. And I would give advice, and there's only so much I can do.
Yeah.
Thought, right, I want to use my platform in the most positive way. Yeah, it's not just about making money. You don't have a business like the structure that I have, go into the dance industry to make money. It's not like, I got told from my mum at a young age, you're never going to have much money. You got to accept it, because we don't go into art for money. We go into it for passion. Yeah. So I still, to this day, and that's why I found it hard to switch to like business mode, because I don't do what I do for money. I could, like, I do it, like, you know, I do charity events for free. Like, and I thought I need to do something for my queens. And that's when I started doing my charity events.
And what charity is it for?
Welsh, so I've done 2 now for Welsh Women's Aid. They're like the main one.
Yeah.
And it's because a lot of my clients have received help from Welsh Women's Aid. And I want to be able to shout them out so women know that they can get support. If you reach out, the support will be there. They'll be listened to.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
So where do you see yourself in sort of like short term, long term? Is the charity balls something that you want to carry on with, or do you expect them to get bigger? And what about your classes and the instructors you have sort of working under you? Is that team going to grow as well?
So we've just actually expanded the team. So Emma is our newest instructor. So we now have 7 of us on the team. So I got 5 instructors, and then Sophie, who's on our events. So yeah, there's 7 of us in total. So it's crazy to think I even have like that many people on board.
So good, really good.
Thank you. And so I think for now, no, I don't want to like expand the team. Yeah. And I think this is another thing, like, who's on your team is very important. I don't just go, do you want to be a Heels Empowerment instructor? Yeah. It's very carefully selected. Like, you don't, it's not like an application you go for. I ask you, you're invited. It's very different because, well, not everyone can dance at that level, of course, but also have the same ethos as Heels Empowerment has.
Got to be on the same page, haven't you?
We really do, and that's why I'm like so grateful for my team. So I'd say no, not any like expansion in the team, but I would say events, I want to get bigger in that, and it's only because of doing the events I've realised how like talented I am at doing events. Yeah. And when I first did my event, people were like, how the fuck are you doing this at this scale? Like, and everyone was like, it was so seamless. And I think it's because of all like my experience with, well, people, and I've worked in events myself, so I've seen it from all angles of working on, and I'm grateful, all the connections I have. Like, you know, the balloons and like the backdrop is Ellie, like from VIP Styling. She's one of my clients, friend of course now, and we work together as well at Panda events. Like she does the backdrop, like dance. So like we're all just so connected.
Yeah.
So I think it's like keep on making like connections with people, and we can help each other out and do incredible things. So I think definitely events and keep growing with people who like Ellie, who I trust, and we can do bigger things. So yeah, definitely events. I won't say exactly what. I'll tell you afterwards. Yeah. I'll tell you after this. You never know who's watching. Yeah. And yeah, with the classes, I would say like I'm really happy with where it is at the moment. Yeah. With the scale of it. We do want to introduce a new class in the new year, but I think it's really important in a business to know like when to scale and when not to scale. So I think at the moment we're at a really good place with our scale, because at the moment we teach across Cardiff and Bristol 16 group classes a week, and then I teach about 15 to 20 private lessons a week. And then so it's busy anyway. And on top of that, you know, I've just been to Dublin, like being a guest like teacher, and we'll do
on the podcast.
Really? Am I here? I don't know. Yeah, and there's obviously like stuff like this, and like I think that was a given, to be honest. And yeah, like just doing little things like that as well. I say little, no, they're big what I'm doing as well. And I'm just really grateful for the opportunities because of Heels Empowerment. I can do these extra things. Like, yeah, of course, like being here, doing like Panda events now. And yeah, God, there's so many things, like collaborating. My friend Beyonce Sunny, we just did a little collaboration together in Cardiff, and then like collaborated with a friend who's from Australia. She came down and we did a workshop together. And I think it's collaboration. That's my focus for next year, is collaboration, because I love coming together with people and sharing the space. And that's what dance is all about, is coming together. We can grow together. Like, it doesn't need to be a competition. Like, we can support each other. And like, yeah, I got some amazing friends now in the industry, and I just want to keep supporting them. And then
that's amazing. Yeah, I love that. So you know when you say you have like 16 classes each week, is that right?
A week, yeah. Yeah.
So are they all based? So in Cardiff, are they all in one studio? Like, where can people, if they wanted to, where can they go and learn the dance? So
in Cardiff, we're based at a studio called Flame Dance Studios.
Okay.
So it's well, it's actually funny. Do you know the Magic Roundabout?
Yeah.
By the Magic Roundabout, just off Ocean Way. That's where we are in Cardiff, and we have like beginner courses there. So if you are like a total beginner, that's where like we start off. Like for people who've never danced in life and they're like, I've got 2 left feet, I'm never be able to do it. That's the class you go to.
Oh, that's good. So you accommodate for all abilities.
Yeah. And that's what Rory helped me with massively, was structuring to so people can access dance. And he was like, you're offering it for people who've danced when they were a kid, so they obviously got rhythm, but they're learning the style, but they can pick it up at a quicker rate. Yeah. But then obviously for people who've never danced, that's very intimidating. So I wanted to create a class that people felt that they were not welcome to. They know they're welcome, but they feel that they're in their stride as well.
Yeah, they're comfortable. Like.
Yeah, so we have like a structure of where you can develop as a beginner. So then you can go to into foundation level, and then you can develop to intermediate level, which is like the top level. Yeah. You know, so there's a way of growing. So if you are at any level, you can know like we will support you through any level.
Yeah, you've kind of created like a perfect pathway.
To
go from there to there.
Yeah, and they can see it, because they can see clients who have started there, and they're the ones that they'll see on Instagram every week dancing, and it's great. Like, they'll message and go, I really look up to you, and that you inspire me. Like, it's not, people don't message me, like they'll message the queens, and I think, and I say to them, like, you are inspiring people when you post every week. Yeah,
it filters down, doesn't it?
It does.
It filters.
And it's incredible to see that the queens are supporting other queens, and then they'll like make connections and like go, come to class with me, like you can come with me next time, and then like they look up to that person, and it's just, honestly, it makes my heart melt.
Oh, that's so good. So talking about inspiration, where do you draw inspiration from in terms of like role models, or is there any books that you read, or is there any podcasts that you listen to like religiously, or role models in your industry maybe?
So, do you know, I hate reading, I will say that. Like I said, I'm not very academic, and I always struggled to try and like concentrate to read. I would try my best and I'd just fall asleep in bed. I was like,
I prefer to listen as well.
I'm a great listener, and even funny enough in school, I had this teacher, she was amazing. She said, because she knew, it wasn't I was being lazy, I was like, can I just listen to you and look at you? It's like, I feel like I can just retain the information better. And I was only like 12, 13. She was like, yeah, because she knew that it wasn't that I was like going to just zone out, because I was like this.
Yeah, it's just a different way of learning, isn't it?
And I think she was one of the people who was like, you know, a fish trying to climb a tree. Like, that's never going to happen. She knew, like, putting me in a pond, I would excel. Like, and I think that for me, that's why podcasts work very well for me. So I'd say, listen to podcasts. Diary of a CEO. I think there was this one specifically, he brought on a female. And again, like, it doesn't happen much. And even he says it's hard to bring, like, females on because they're scared. And just what she was saying, because sometimes we get that, what's it called?
Imposter syndrome?
Yeah, that's the one.
I don't know.
The imposter syndrome. Like, and I don't get it with my dancing anymore, because I do truly believe that, like, I am good at what I do. Yeah. Which, for women to even vocalize that, and I think it's important that I vocalize that so other women can hear, like, I am good at my job. Yeah. And don't be afraid to say you're good at your job.
100%.
But sometimes in business, I do get it. And I think, oh my God, because I don't read these books, and I have just kind of not winged it, but I've gone with the flow of it. I haven't done more structurally. I've gone to a business school or anything this. And they were like, if you're a people's person, you're going to do great in business. And I always remember that business owner saying that. I think she's a shark investor. Oh, yeah? The woman, yeah. I can't remember her name, but she's an older woman. She's had so many businesses. And hearing that just really put me at ease. I thought, if she's saying that, I am such a people's person. And if you can talk to the general public, you're absolutely fine. I thought,
yeah, 100%.
I can do that. You don't have to be good at maths. Like, you know, I pay my instructors. And she was like, if you can roughly figure out, like, your goals and, like, financially, like, what you have to do to make the business smooth, you're fine. Yeah. You don't need to know the exact numbers of things. That's what you hire people to do. You don't need to know everything. Yeah. And I think that's really important as well.
Yeah, definitely. They say, like, the people you hire are probably one of the most important things you can do. Or even not hire, like, if you just pay an accountant to do your books for you.
Oh,
rather than
I have an accountant, Jesus Christ.
Rather than you trying to, like, go through it all. Like, just having someone to take that headache away from you.
You don't want
to
so
important.
It's knowing, like, in business where to put your focus. Yeah. And that's something I've learned, to delegate. Delegate is the biggest thing I've learned. And, like, I have, like, Martha, who's my instructor. She's, like, the manager of, like, Heels Empowerment. So she does mainly all the DMs. She's the one who does the website stuff with Rory. She does our merchandise. Oh, yeah. Like, so she does all that stuff. And, like, I don't have to be there, but she's amazing with admin.
That's so good.
So, like, I know that's a skill. Yeah. So I look at my team and I look at, like, what's their skill set and where do they excel. Like, at the moment, I'm doing, like, little meetings with each of them just to see how the year has gone, and we can talk about their strengths and weaknesses. How can I support them? And it's actually mad, like, writing all down. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I really do know their strengths and weaknesses. And I had my first one the other day, and she was like, yeah, I agree. And I was like, yeah, I agree with what you're saying, because we have that relationship with each other. So yeah, I would say, like, podcasts, and that's really helped. I think as a female, like, business owner, it's really put my mind at ease. And then I think people just in the industry, like, friends who I look up to, and I think it's important to have, like, friends who are in your industry, but also who support you at the same time. So one of my, like, I think I said about Cresta as well, like, she's like a sister to me now, and it's only this year really we've gotten really close, but she is like sister for life, like, you know. And for her to just really support me in my dreams, and to meet someone in your industry who actually has your back, especially in the dance industry.
It's hard, isn't it?
It's fucking hard. Yeah. And, like, when you have them, hold on to those, like, not even connections, like, those genuine relationships. And I think it's just really important to have people you can talk to that has your back. So I wouldn't really say, like, there's many, like, obviously I have dancers who I look up to, like LA dancers, and who I've been taught by now, which is incredible, because I went to LA this year, and, like, the woman who got me more passionate about commercial and heels dancing, I met her in person.
That's good.
And it was crazy because I was in a studio in LA thinking, I only dreamt of this.
Big inspiration.
It was like a bucket list thing. And I managed to tick off a bucket list and just being in the same space as her. And do you know they say like never meet your heroes?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that wasn't the case for me here.
She was good, was she?
She was everything and more that I ever wanted. And she was just amazing. And like her partner, well, her husband, does all the videography, which is quite common in the dance industry. Like people, like partners tend to be videographers, and that's how they connect, which is amazing because they're expensive. So well done, guys. So like, and so I met her, and like at the end, she like was like, right, who's new in this class? I put my hand up, and like probably like another 30, because it was probably like 100 people in this class.
Yeah.
And she picked me and 2 others to dance at the end. I thought, what the hell? Like I'm getting picked, and where I never even thought I'd be in that room. And then to speak to her at the end, and I did, I cried, and like, it might be intense. And I said to her, I'm intense. She was like, no, feel those like emotions. She said, you've obviously come a long way. And like, it was such like a moment for me, watching her videos in lockdown and being like, I could only have a dream to be in at that level. And yeah, don't get me wrong, like I still want to improve to this day, but seeing someone who inspires me so much, her raw energy, her passion, how she delivers and looks into a camera, that's like as a performer level. And like, yeah, she's not your classic, like we were talking the body type, she's more curvy, like quite similar body type to me. And I was like, wow, like, and then seeing her in person doing her thing, wow.
Wow, that's so good.
Yeah.
So can we move on to the defining moment segment? So every guest that comes on, they bring in 3, I know in your case you brought 4 pictures in. So they bring in 3 to 4 pictures and they define your journey and where they've taken you today. So shall we start with the first picture? Can you explain to the audience what it is and why it's a defining moment?
Okay, so one of the photos was my graduation photo, which is with my partner, the photo, Connor, and he's had a lot of mentions this podcast, actually, I've just noticed. Shout out.
Yeah.
So if you would look at that photo, you would think, oh, great, she got a degree. Like, I got a first class honours, like, I did well in uni. And again, not because I was, like, talented in like the academic, like, because of course we did the academic side, and like I worked really hard, so like you'd see, I was like, she worked hard, well done to her. She got a cap and gown on, and she's with her partner, really proud, holding her like in his arm, in his arm, and like, but actually no, that was a really sad day for me. I didn't even want to go. I was in a dark place that day, and that's why I picked it, which funny, you probably see it and you probably expect me to be like,
I was going to say, I thought it was going to be some massive positive photo.
No.
Okay.
And actually when I sent it and you asked me, I actually had a tear in my eye, because I just thought, oh my God.
And why was it pivotal?
Because that's at the moment I kind of started doing heels.
Yeah.
I moved back home, and like I had a lot going on in my family with my grandparents, and like they had a lot of issues. And they were like my rock growing up, and seeing them struggle getting older was really tough. And like now my granddad has Alzheimer's, my nan has dementia, she's in a nursing home, and my granddad now lives with my mum and dad, and they're like the carers for him. And and like obviously, like I won't get into it, but a lot of shit happened, and it was scary really what happened. And at that time, because of what happened, I moved in sooner than I expected with Connor, and I moved into his family home. And obviously then, that was in the December, my graduation, because it's not like a normal uni. Usually people have in the summer, but mine was in the December of 2019. So it was fucking freezing, I remember the day. We were all like shivering, like outside having that photo, like it was so cold. And then obviously we went into lockdown like earlier in the year. So, and then I just lived with Connor, and then we ended up saving for a house. So everything happens for a reason, you know?
100%.
And I just remember like not even wanting to go. My grandparents weren't able to come, and they were the ones who helped me be where I am today. They were the ones, like, you know, like my mum and obviously my mum was my teacher, but then, you know, like, and they didn't have the money like to be able to support. Like going into dance is expensive, and it's expensive, and you don't even make much money from it. So it's one of those things, like, you've got to have like people who support you, but also like financially is hard. So my grandparents were there to like really support me, and to them not be there on that real big day of mine was hard.
Yeah.
And I just didn't even know what to do with myself. And obviously Connor came with me, and at that time as well, like, I was really lost. Even though I started doing heels, I had no clue where my career was going. So I'm graduating, like, and people ask, oh, so what are you doing now? And you're like,
That
I don't
that
know.
dreaded question.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that horrible question that you should never ask someone when they just graduate. So I tend to try not ask people what they want to do. So I'm like, oh, so what are you doing right now? And if they're like, oh yeah, I work in a coffee shop, I'm like, oh, like, amazing. Like, honestly, you'll get so many skills from doing that. And I'm a true believer, like, your muggle jobs really help you to support you where you are, like maybe in 2-3 years time. And I know how hard it is because I've been through it. And my body confidence at the time was really low. How I felt about how I looked on my face as well. Like, I really thought I was ugly at the time. And the reason why is because I had really bad acne.
Okay.
And the reason why I had bad acne was because of stress and like just little things like I will talk about, because obviously we can have females, like contraception. I changed my contraception to like the implants, and it fucked my body up. And just being in like such a polluted area, like in London, it just messed me up, like emotionally as well. Like, I had a period for 9 months. Yeah.
9 months?
9 months, yeah. I wasn't like consistently like bleeding every day. And like, do you know, I wasn't going to say this, but I think, do you know, we should like normalise like periods and stuff. So I'm going to talk about it. And then 9 months of like on and off bleeding, it was horrible. And my skin, and I had like, which you'd never think now, like with my skin, because like, but my skin has always been like this before. So
it's clear.
It's clear, my skin. And like, when growing up, I never went through like teen acne. So I never know what it felt like.
Yeah.
And I remember doing my makeup in the car, and because we were driving from Cardiff to London, and I was meeting my friend at her house so I could quickly get changed and then go to the graduation. I burst out crying. I just looked in the mirror and cried my eyes out. And my mum and dad are driving, like, what the fuck do we do? I was like, I can't go. Like, and like, just even talking about now is like quite like a shit moment. Oh, I don't know.
Brings back feelings, But it's good that you've come from that sort of place and you've turned it into such a big positive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, and also having like Connor there.
Yeah, supporting
obviously,
me.
that's like a massive someone you can lean on whenever you're feeling like sad or upset.
Yeah.
So I think the way that you've come from that place, and I literally thought that was going to be a real positive picture.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to really like speak about happy times and stuff.
No.
But, the fact that you've opened up, I think that's credit to yourself.
I told you I'm a cancer.
It's all right.
Yeah, like, it's actually crazy, like, how a photo, you know, Instagram is a perfect thing. You see someone, like, smiling in a photo with their partner, like, oh my God, everything's happening, woo! And, like, you think, oh, they're doing it. I know, maybe you need to, when you have women, you need to have tissues on the table, okay? Maybe the men don't cry, but us women,
Always.
yeah, like, it's actually crazy how such, like, a photo can hold so many memories.
100%.
And I almost didn't go. I was like, I'm not stepping in. And it was only my two best friends. Blaine, he's another boy who I lived with in uni. He's doing amazing now. He dances on cruises all around the world. He is fucking killing it. And my friend Liv, funny enough, she's from Barry, and she's got her own dance school, ballet school now. And they were the ones like, you're fucking coming.
Yeah.
Like, we've been through too much together. Like, you're going there, you're going to regret it. And it's only because they and my family were like, you're going to regret this, you need to go. I went.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, it's nuts how much that moment in my life that people think is a success, that's actually not. So never judge a book by its cover. And like, people look at me now and think, oh yeah, like, she's this young, like pretty woman, like, you would think like she's got everything going for her. But actually no, like, it hasn't always like been the case where I felt like I've loved myself. And that's why I preach about self-love, looking at yourself in the mirror, because I remember that moment where I just bawled. You should never do that looking in the mirror. You should appreciate what's in front of you. And I always say to people when they struggle to look in the mirror, look at something you love. Don't look at the things you hate. Focus on that one thing you like. And it can be as simple as, I like how my nose looks today.
Yeah. So if you could speak to the girl who was graduating, like, what would you have said to her on that day?
like good things are coming your way.
Yeah.
Keep working hard, and you are beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's so good. Powerful as well. Shall we move on to the second picture?
Yes.
So
I'm like, fucking hell, I didn't realise I was going to cry.
all right, so what's the second picture and why is it a defining moment in your journey?
Okay, so second one is the email.
Yeah.
One. So I think it just shows how, like, I genuinely didn't know Heels Empowerment would be where it is today.
Yeah.
So the email is like is the first time I ever did Heels Empowerment. So the email is just speaking to a studio, which it's not the studio I'm in now. Like, I moved afterwards because they didn't realise I was in heels. They were like, sorry, we don't allow heels. So, it's kind of my business.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's kind of the class. So then we moved studio, but it says, what I said to them is, can I do a block of 4 and then just see if it's a success? I was so naive.
So I had 4 weeks.
4 weeks, yeah, just one session a week. And that's how I started off, just one session a week. And I had no clue. And you can just see the doubt in the email. I remember typing it, being like, see if it's a success for me. You just would never think from that email if someone, like a female who doesn't believe in themselves, like I did, my gut told me it was a good feeling, but like, as female business owners, we don't really like believe in ourselves as much as men do. It's nuts to think that email, where I am now, like over 4 years later, huge, like, and how I've grown as a person, and Heels Empowerment has helped me grow. And even though obviously it's my business, it's helped me, and it's nuts to think that how where I was then to now, it's like I'm completely different, not a completely different person, because the reason why Heels has done so well is because of that woman I was back then.
Yeah.
But because of that woman I was then, it's helped me to be where I am today. But I'm a strengthened version now because of what my trauma and everything I went through back then.
Experience, isn't it?
Experience, yeah.
Honestly, experience like builds character.
It does.
So obviously going through all that sort of negative, positive, everything, the successes, the failures, that creates who you are now.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's amazing. And I love the fact that you just put 4 weeks. Like, and now like you mentioned earlier, now you're doing 16 a week. Now you're doing 16 a week.
I know, I got like,
that is mad.
We have like about over 100 people who sign up to our courses a month.
That's crazy.
And, you know, and some of them I don't even teach, like my instructors teach them, and you just think, oh my God, like, you don't, unless you really believe in yourself, no one else is going to do it for you.
But that email is you taking a risk.
It's risk.
And unless you take
a risk
and you plant that little seed, and now the seed is what you are now, massive.
It's a big tree.
Big tree. Yeah. And now,
she's a tree.
And now the successes are building on top of other successes.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Take my hat off to you for that one.
Thank you.
So let's move on to picture 3.
Oh, picture 3. I've gone blank what picture 3 is. Me in the studio, of course. I was like, oh my God, it's pressure. So the photo is like me, like this with my hands. And I'm like, and a lot of people say it's like their favourite photo of me. And I think because it catches the essence of me as a person. And then obviously, like, when people see me online and they see my videos, like, oh my God, like, she dances so sexy, like, she must just be like a sexy person.
Yeah.
I'm really not. Like, I'm the most goofiest person, and like, I'm like a little like Labrador. I'm like this. When I'm in the studio, I talk to everyone, and like, we'll talk about everything and anything. And I do, like, I'll make a tit of myself, and I'm not afraid to make a tit of myself. And I think that photo just solidifies like how happy I am in my job.
I saw a video when I was being nosy.
Yeah.
When like preparing for the podcast, and you're doing something with makeup. Are you taking makeup off or something like that?
Oh yeah. I know the one you're on about.
And you get a gist for your personality from that.
Yeah.
And I think you're quite goofy now, and like you mess.
I am goofy.
I don't know if you messed something up or something like that, and you like took the piss out of yourself.
Oh no, I'm not afraid to take the piss out of myself.
Yeah, and I think that's so important for something that you do, because you're more relatable.
It's so serious as well, the dance part. So when we're like actually teaching the choreography, like I'll literally like, one of my choreos, it goes like this, do, and I go swipe the sweat, tit, and then everyone's laughing, and like, it just makes people feel at ease more. If I was like, you know, stroke your hand, then like seductively like touch yourself, and people be like, Like, you know, like, and obviously when the camera comes on, I'm like, come on, give me the sex, everyone. And they're like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, then, you know, but that's what it's like. It's not all serious when people see me online. And then when they meet me, first thing people say is, oh my God, like, I was not expecting you to be as much of a goofball as you are.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, there's videos of me where you do catch that essence of me.
And you put up videos of you falling over.
Have you seen them yet?
Yeah. You do like some, you like do a jump and you just fall onto the floor. Like,
Oh yeah, because I think as well people like build up this perception that like I'm perfect. And I'm like, no sis, I am not perfect at all. Like that water shoot that I did, the fail video, I actually caught a really bad illness after that because the water was actually cold.
Yeah.
And I was there for 3.5 hours just in the water. And I was like literally like shivering. Like it was horrible. So like, yeah, the final edit, great. But life, like people post is just the edit.
Yeah.
And I want people just to get an idea that I'm not an edit. Like this is who I am. And when you come to Heels Empowerment, you get the full me.
Yeah.
And I think that photo is exactly what it is. Like it shows that when I'm in the studio, it's not about me. It's about all of you. And that's me literally. I am in awe watching everyone. I'm like...
Yeah. And
I'm
you're
just
giving, you
Yeah.
can see that you're giving that positive energy to the room.
To the room.
And yeah, so
it's not about me going, right, I'm going to just film myself at the end. And the
Yeah.
reason why I film it, number one, me doing it at the end. Number one is I got to remember it for future if people want to reteach of it. Because everyone goes, reteach there soon. And I'm like, again? You want it again? Like some choreos I've done like 4 times in class. And people are like, they just love a reteach. So number one, that. And 2, it's inspiring for them to know, you know, maybe on the reteach, you can get it maybe to more this level. So it's not about me at all. And I think that photo is just shows that I'm so about giving and it's my energy is to you.
Yeah, no, I love that. So moving on to the 4th picture.
I keep forgetting.
Do you know, you're the only guest to have 4 pictures, so feel special for that one. So what's the 4th picture? What's the 4th picture and why is it a defining moment?
I bloody forgot the last one. What is it?
I think you're
Can't be that
doing
important.
a charity, I think.
Oh, that is really important.
Yeah.
It is. It's really important.
That's the most important one.
Yeah, that's actually really important. So it was at so we raise money for breast cancer now.
Yeah.
And it was an event, of course, raising money and raising awareness for them. And a lot of course, like, it's all like pretty much females that come to my classes. And a lot of their like, you know, mums or like their partners or I don't know, like friends, family. That unfortunately, like it's very common, like breast cancer in general, but breast cancer. And I wanted to do an event that was like on a specific body type for women. And it kind of linked to my event I did. I did a self-love event where we started raising money for breast cancer then. So I did this thing about loving your body, and you're going to think I'm mad when I say this, but I did life drawing of me. Everyone did life drawing. I got my kit off completely and was like, and this is how much I'll go vulnerable for like the queens. Said, if I show me being fully vulnerable, you can do it.
Yeah.
Like if I can do it, you can do it. So it was an event where me and instructors did like a burlesque performance where we eventually, some of us like took our tops off to like show breasts. And then, and of course it was all females. When one of my gay friends came, a guy, obviously like everyone knew that they were safe there. It was important for them to know it's not just you being safe, it's us. It was kind of like that, like relationship. And it was that thing of like, people had a lot of respect for me for doing that because some people don't even get naked in front of a mirror, like and even for their partners, like you know, like having sex, like they'll keep a top on or something. And I think for me to do that in front of like some people I don't know even as well, I thought screw it, I'm gonna do it. And thinking back to that photo of my graduation to now, I'm so proud of myself. Selfishly, it's amazing.
Journey, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big journey and. So I think that's why I wanted to do it, like, is it like a body type for women? And that's why I picked breast cancer now. And that event at the end, all the people who were behind, they were all my queens who performed. So we had like the foundations, the intermediates, our Bristol intermediate clients before my commercial, like girls, like, do you know when I dance in the trainers?
Oh yeah.
So that's commercial. So they did a performance and I actually didn't perform at that event either. And everyone was like, why are you not performing? I was like, it's not about me. Like, it's about all of you and celebrating your success. And then also like for like survivors or, you know, unfortunately like some family members who were not here and raising awareness. So I just hosted the whole event, which hosting is really hard. And that was like something I'm really proud of in itself, like that I was able to like host an event fully by myself.
That's amazing.
It was amazing. And like that final photo actually is at the end, we were announcing the raffle prizes, but we, funny enough, we weren't quite ready to announce them. And Martha, the manager of Heels Empowerment, looking at me going,
yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck do I do? I was like, and I have all these like, you know, like 100 people watching, and then all of the clients like behind me, and I'm like, okay. And then someone went, dance off. And I was like, oh, okay. They were like, come on, Geo, you go first. I was like, and that photo you'll see, I'm wearing a dress and it's like skin tight all the way down, and it was see-through as well. So I'm wearing just like a thong underneath, and I was thinking, you know, and it was like people's partners there and stuff, and I was like, oh fuck me, what am I gonna do? So I thought, well, I'm just gonna head whip it out, doing what's called like figure of eight. So I was like, whip, 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 whip. And I thought, there we go, that's what they're gonna get. And then all the clients started joining, and it was a beautiful moment of like people witness on the outside the essence of Heels Empowerment and the hype that honestly the videos. Oh, actually, it was a promo video I got created from that. Yeah. And it wasn't even meant to happen. And at the end, so that photo was after that all got created.
Oh yeah. And
you could see everyone just like just so that photo of me like.
It's like elation from everyone.
Yeah. It was just an amazing like atmosphere, and I just think, wow, like. Me starting off Heels Empowerment then to then all of these people behind me, and that's not even all my clients, you know, that's just like a handful of clients. Like it was probably about I would say about 60 people performed, and then it was like 100 people watching. So I'm surrounded by all these people, and the reason why they're there is because of Heels Empowerment.
What you created.
Yeah, like it's nuts to think that's why everyone is in that room today, and why these beautiful friendships have been created, and why someone has got out of a bad abusive relationship and they wanted to find something where they felt like they could feel their sexiness again, and it's all because of the brand that was created. And I just feel honoured that I can raise money for charities and just bring people together and just make amazing things happen in Cardiff.
Yeah, it's amazing. Honestly, well done for raising all that money.
Thank you.
Highlighting something so important as breast cancer.
Yeah.
Because so many, as you said, so many people know of or have someone in their family who's suffering from something like that.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can empower women and raise money for such a good cause, I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
So what would a final tip be that you would like to give our watchers or listeners at home? Just a tip that you think they should take away with them to implement in their own life.
Trust your gut.
Trust your gut.
Trust your gut.
It's been a theme throughout this, hasn't it?
Yeah, for me, yeah. Does other guests say this as well?
No, for you.
Oh, just me?
We've mentioned it a couple of times,
Yeah, your gut feeling. And I think because of like how I am as a person, I tend to try and see the best in everyone. Sometimes your gut tells you, no, that they're not a good person. Trust the gut. And decisions you make in business, in life, in friendships, relationships, trust your gut. Your gut knows what you really want. And just have people as well who support you authentically, not for the clout. Yeah. And it's funny, you see it. Like, it's only now Heels Empowerment's doing well. People want to lick your ass, and like I'm not stupid. Like, I know. You know, the people who like don't support you on the come up, but then once you're there, then they pretend that they supported you throughout, but they never. Yeah, like I've heard some people chat shit about me, which they never know that I know. Yeah. And then now they're like in my DMs going, "Oh my god, babe, you're doing well," and I'm like, I know what you said, bitch. No, honestly, it's one of them things which you just got to make a mental note of, but you'll never forget it. And like I get it as well, and people have said it before. Like, it's those little support, like even just liking or sharing something, like it goes such a long way with a business like yours. Yeah. So when people even slander you behind your back or like chat shit, and then you make a mental note of that, and then in the future you're like, no,
Like
Yeah.
you just be nice and civil to save face anyway. But
Yeah, and I'll always be like, I wish you the best.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, funny enough, I had something like this happen recently where I've heard a lot saying behind my back and then had a message off a person, and then you're like, do you know what? I wish you all the best, but unfortunately you just can't be in my life anymore. Like, so I wish you the best, but you're not gonna be in my circle anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it's boundaries. Set your boundaries.
You got to.
And don't be scared. You're not always, and this is another thing, you're not always going to be everyone's best friend.
Exactly.
You're going to, unfortunately, people are not going to like you. And I think because of my personality, where I always want everyone to feel welcome and warm and safe. But, you know, you're not everyone's going to like me, and it's okay. Like, you find your community somewhere else. And unfortunately, I can't be everyone's, like, cup of tea.
Yeah, 100%. It's hard not to take some things like that personal,
Yeah.
isn't it? But like once you've gone through it for a little bit, you can kind of separate your personal feelings from what they're doing, because in reality they're completely irrelevant to what you're doing with Heels Empowerment. Yeah. So is there someone in mind who you think would be a great guest to have on, and why?
Oh my God, there's so many.
Well, let's just narrow it down to maybe one or two.
Thinking like in Cardiff. I want to think of like a female guest because I think, like you said, it's important that women
100%.
can like come on. I definitely think my friend Sophie, I was talking about, Bella Butte, she would be amazing because she's just recently like gone through a lot as well. So, like she's just had like a big surgery. Yeah. And it's incredible, like her journey she's gone through with her like weight loss and shift in her business. So I think she would like be an amazing person to have. Yeah. I would say she's the top one, I would say. And like she's someone like I would say I see like as a mentor to me and an honest friend.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And what is it that she does that you think people would get benefits from listening?
I think it is that thing similar to what I've been talking about, really. Like, people are not always going to have your back, and they will go up their way to like try and see you fail. And I think how she is like just kept pushing and grafting and not giving a shit what people think of her. Yeah, she might care sometimes, but like she doesn't listen to it, you know. Yeah. And she'll just keep fighting, and like she's such a business-minded woman, and I think it would be like a nice tip for women to hear her, like as a female business owner. Yeah.
No, that's good. I love seeing successful people. I love just seeing people do well in general.
Same, yeah.
And like you said, trying to get another woman on, I think that would be really empowering on top of your episode.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, where can people find you and your business pages online? So if people wanted to come and follow you, see what you're up to, follow your business, where can they find you?
I love this plug. Nice one. Yes. So you will find me mainly, I would say, on Instagram. So I got my personal page, which is like Geo. It's actually just one E, but I had to do two E's because someone else took the handle. So yeah, it's Geo_Rose. That's like where I post more like my personal branding stuff. Yeah. And then obviously if you want to see more about what the community is about, then it's Heels_Empowerment. That's like the account. And then we're also on TikTok, and I actually don't manage my own TikTok anymore. I got someone else doing it. Delegate. So
coming up in the world, see.
Coming up, we're trying our best. Trying to do good things.
Yeah.
So I think it is now like Geo Rose as well, my TikTok. But it's all linked on my Instagram. I got like a link tree and everything's connected. Yeah. And then if you do want to book a class, then I got my website, and that's on our link tree as well. If you want to know what heels to get, it's all there on the link tree.
Perfect. There we are.
Yeah, we're all connected.
One-stop shop.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for coming on to the Capable Minds podcast. It was amazing having you on. Obviously, I wish you every success with what you're doing in the future with Heels Empowerment and your charity.
Thank you.
And yeah, stay tuned for future episodes. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel as it helps us grow and get amazing guests on like Geo. And I'll see you on the next one.
Capable Minds Podcast.